This is Show versus Business, where pop culture meets pop money with your host, the real Theo Harvey, and Mr. Benja. Mr. Benja, what are we covering today?
Oh man, we are going to be covering some bland backgrounds and some awesome backgrounds. And it's going to be great because podcast hosts need to keep evolving and doing greater and greater things. But as far as stories go, this week we got some Super Bowl thoughts. Super Bowl went down last Sunday, and now we're just now getting around to all the ramifications of it, stuff going on with Usher, the unspoken of Kanye West, Beyonce. There's enough going on. And of course, commercials, Duncan and all that. And we also have an MCU update. Surprisingly big on MCU news suddenly. We're gonna pull back a little information from Thunderbolts that we never released before. Madam Web is coming out. Fantastic Four casting, X-Men 97 trailer. So good little stuff we can talk about with that. Also, we got our AI watch. AI has been doing things as it's been doing since Sam Altman became a household name, but now AI video is creeping me out. I was about to say creeping people out, but I don't want to speak for everybody out there. It's creeping me out. So I may have to get some stuff off my chest, Theo. And we may also have some other stuff, but how does that sound?
All right, man. I love it. I love it. I love it, Mr. Benja. Mr.
Yeah.
Benja, I got a question for you.
Okay, go on. Go on.
When's the last time you got in a fight?
I yelled at some cat and I thought he was about to throw down, but then he just walked off in a huff and some people took me by the shoulder and said, "You should walk off too." And I'm like, all right.
And when was this? How long ago was this?
That was like 2 years ago.
So I literally almost got in a fight 2 hours ago.
Oh,
Man.
were you yelling?
So
Is
I
that why
think huh?
were you yelling? Is that why your voice is a little
Well, a little bit. So I think I told you I've been coaching my son's youth basketball league at the
Yes,
YMCA.
yes.
Youth sports gets a little heated. Yes, youth sports get a little heated, man. Especially as the kids get a little older. And we have a scrappy team. They're a little smaller than the rest of everyone else in the league, but we play hard, man. We got heart. Last games before this game, we were like 2-1, and we won them in the last like a minute because we just play good defense, get the ball, and win. Teams got heart. This game was tough, man. They kept following my guys. They were crying. Sometimes you forget these little kids, they act tough, but they skin their little knee a bump down. Oh, mommy. They're still little babies. My son is 8, and so most of the kids are like 9 and 10. So anyways,
Alright.
a lot of kids got a little hurt. The other team was playing a little physical.
That
So me and
that's
the
that's
coach,
that's a big difference now. When you're talking about kids, you're talking about 8 and 10. These aren't
yeah, so that's why my son is not playing as much as he probably wants to, but he's got to get a little bit bigger. He's hanging out there a little bit.
Mhm.
So anyway, we in the heat, refs miss fouls, stuff like that, which fine. These kids are traveling all the time and what they call double dribble, dribbling the ball all messed up and all that. And then we have the other coach getting very heated at the refs. This. And so he put his bid in, and then I put my bid in. So guys, refs call it both sides. This dude comes at me and says, "Man, shut up." I was like, "Oh, it's like that." So I said, I called timeout, told my team, we're gonna beat this. We were down by like 5 at that point, 6 at that point. And being down by 5 and 6 when you're playing 9 and 10-year-olds, that's like almost being down by 20 because it's hard to get a bucket. And the guys, they came back, man. They came back tough, man. And even though there were scrapes and our team was complaining about not getting fouls and all that, we
Yeah.
come back and beat them. And this is the second time we beat this coach and his team. And I'm dapping up, and then I said, one coach, this assistant coach says, "Hey, man, we good?" He said, "Good." Then I went up to the other coach, "Hey, we good?" "No, we ain't good." I said, "What?" And then that's when words were spilled. And so you had things like, "You don't know me. We can get started now." What's some of the classic ones saying that
Well,
they get
hit me is the one that's when it's
yes. "Oh,
gotten to
you
that
ready to
point.
get started? Oh, you gonna do something." Those are words
Yeah, yeah.
that was said by both parties, me included. And then you had the whole hold me back, that hold me back scene, right?
Did you bring up what you gonna do?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
Yeah, that was the other one. See, you gotta
no,
do all
no.
the classic lines.
What you gonna
What you
do?
gonna do? What you gonna do? Well, you don't know me. You don't know where I'm from. I'll see you in the streets. It got there, Mr. Bridget.
Oh,
And
man.
part of me was like somewhat laughing now, but also part of me is just for the kids. We gotta keep respectable. But so anyway, big long could do, and just saying that guy is no longer coaching and because of the heated anger. I was proud of my team. They came back and won, and I asked them, I said, "Hey, guys, you still feel that pain? You still feel that?" "No, I'm good." I said, "Okay, see, that's what winning does." None of them were crying. They were like, "Yeah, we won. We beat them." I said, "Don't you feel? Don't want? Doesn't that win feel so much sweeter?" And so I sent a long text after I talked to the YMCA executive director because they don't want that kind of stuff to happen. And also,
Yeah.
I am in Florida, so we have to be careful where because things can escalate, unfortunately. After we talked to the YMCA director, it looks like that guy's no longer coaching anymore, so that won't get escalated. And then now the next step is I just sent a text to the families and just let them know, thank you for dealing with the kids and stuff. And I had it and told them this shouldn't happen again. But yeah, man, it's disheartening, man. I forgot how heated these things can get. And I was like, oh man, I see why I don't like coaching no more. It's
Did, did it
just
get
too much.
physical at all? Did it get
Could
physical?
have. It could have because we were in each other's face. And then luckily, cooler heads tried to hold us back. And then
Yeah.
he was now that he held back, you know how it is. Now he really won't go after you. I said, let him
Yeah.
go. I'm right here. And
I'm
think
right
about
here.
it.
That's the only one I forgot. I'm right here.
Yeah, like,
I ain't
let's
going
go. You
nowhere.
ready?
I'm right
Let's
here.
go.
I'm right here.
I ain't going nowhere. I'm right here. Let's go. Let's go. You don't know me. And then,
I ain't got
of
no
course,
place to
people
be.
said, Coach, some people not as much, but say, hey, coach, go that. Might got a few on me, but it's all good. It is what it is. But at the same time, in retrospect, I probably should have just been a bigger man and walked away. But it's just interesting. You just think you're beyond that sometimes. So you just, man, dang, that escalated pretty quickly. What happened? So you just, like I said, Mr. Benj, I guess when you put yourself in different situations that you forget about, because when I was in played college, high school ball, get into little
Yeah.
scrapes here and there and stuff, but you forget, man, that you're just never too far from those trigger points.
Does 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 Florida have I forgot what you call it. It's like a consensual combat law. Do they have anything
Ooh,
like that? I
I have
I
no idea. Is that
I
a
know that's
California thing?
no, I know that certain places have like a consensual combat kind of thing where it's like, "Hey, listen, everybody good? All right, we're just gonna scrap for a little bit. Once somebody says I'm done, then they're done and we stop it. Is that okay? No charges? Cool, man, go." Two people throw some fists and it's like, "All right, man, F you, I'm out of here. Screw this." There and no one can get charged because they consented and everybody was like, "Cool."
Wow, that is
I'll have to look that one
very
up.
professional. That is
That that
very
is
cordial. That is cordial. I love it.
that
That sounds like a California idea, man. Sensual combat.
it
Are you okay with this? Are you ready to fight? Yeah, I'm ready to fight. Okay. So what you gonna do then?
basically.
Let's get through
Um,
the formalities first. Sign this NDA. Sign this.
okay, I thought it was consensual combat. It is mutual combat, a term from Wikipedia now, a term commonly used in United States courts when two individuals intentionally and consensually engage in a fair fight while not hurting bystanders or damaging property. There have been numerous cases where this concept was successfully used in defense of the accused.
Mm, good
This
to
is
know.
in a notable example. There's an MMA fighter, Ben Fodor. He hit the headlines for actually getting involved, or two people agreed, and they're like, okay. And the Seattle Police Department actually, their officers actually didn't intervene. I'm sorry, I'm trying to skim this really quickly while reading here. But yeah, the Seattle Police Department was there and they didn't intervene. And people said the police should have been charged. And they were like, "Oh, no, they said they
It's
were
all
wrong."
legal. It's all legal.
And
Oh
apparently it
wow.
was legal, or they let it go.
Yeah. I love it. I love it, man. Thank you for that. I wish you could have been my legal representative right there and then, and you could just told them, say, "Hey, everybody, just I need everybody to sign these NDAs real quick, and we can go." But anyway, so I digress. But it's just funny just to see that you just wow, that was interesting. That what was that? That escalated fast, and yeah, man, it's you're never too far sometimes from your trigger point. So fair warning, everyone, stay away from those trigger points if you can help it. If you see yourself
Yes.
turning red, man, it can happen so quick.
I got I don't have anything that intense happening because that's fun, man. Every once in a while, you gotta get hyped. I'm not
Have a little
adv
spiciness.
I'm not advocating mutual combat or anything, but yeah, put a little cayenne up in that B.
Put some Salt Bay on that.
Le cilantro. So I was checking out your boy Benjamin Hardy as I do, and he caught me with this phrase, and he was like, "Yeah, Dan Sullivan said." I'm like, "Okay," but he mentioned somebody else. I was like, "Who's this other person he mentioned?" And whenever you really want to learn something, or at least I do, whenever I hear who they reference or who they got it from or who they hang around with, where you like see pictures, like who's that guy in the background? I always want to look to that guy because whoever's in the foreground is spending all their time in the foreground while somebody in the background is actually doing stuff. So I'm always looking for the background guys. Anyway, I found this old podcast from 2016 where Dan Sullivan, the business and entrepreneur guru, trainer, coach, is talking with some other guy, Joe Polish, I believe his name is, or is that somebody else? But he was talking with the guy, and it talks about the whole concept of procrastination and things that bother you. And I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting because I procrastinate on things and things bother me. And he's got this concept of using procrastination as a way to figure out what to do next. And he calls this podcast The Joy of Procrastination. I don't know. Did you get a chance to listen to that? Because that was
I did not yet, but that's definitely on my to-do list. So break it down.
it's interesting. So without the hardcore academic study of Dr. Hardy, Dan Sullivan and this other guy go in deep on a lot of these concepts from actual practice out in the field. And one of the things was Dan Sullivan was like, why am I so upset with this thing I'm procrastinating on? Why does it bother me so much? And then he and his friend had this idea that, hey, listen, the things we really enjoy and the things that bring us a lot of money, we jump straight into. So what is procrastination telling us? And he went, there's this whole long process. In fact, it's enough of a process and thought to have years worth of podcast episodes. So I'm not going to go through everything in it,
Also,
but
wait a minute, hold on. The podcast is about what, 50 episodes or so? 52
it-
episodes.
it's the joy of procrastination.
So
I don't know
yeah,
how
so it's
episodes
pretty
it
long.
is.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely got enough to go into it. And I see if you're Benjamin Hardy or somebody hanging around with all these people, how you would have just enough content for like ever if you're just hanging around with them. But the idea that that gave me was when I was little, a lot of times I didn't like going to school, not because of school, just because of the stuff involved. It's
Mhm.
like my mom would be like, "Got to make sure after school you go talk to Mrs. Nichols and do this." I'm like, "Oh, Miss Nichols, I don't want to deal with her." Okay, and then make sure they go lunch. And oh God, I have money. Why can't I just buy the school lunch? Why do I have to make this lunch? Make sure you. And there was all this just stuff, right? Like I already studied for the test. I don't need to bring the notes. And there's just all this stuff. And it was kid stuff and it bothered me and I didn't like dealing with it. I just wanted to study on my own and go to school without all the stuff. So I'd procrastinate. And that stuck with me for a while, just that idea, why am I procrastinating on that? And Dan Sullivan broke it down. He was like, yeah, all these little details and things, they shouldn't be a problem, but somehow they are. And if you start looking at them, maybe you can get rid of them, change up the idea a little bit, move things around. And sometimes it's little things, sometimes it's big things. And he even brought up the concept of sometimes you shouldn't be doing it, somebody else should be doing it, or, to our
Mhm.
who, not how discussions. There's basically some kind of leverage point that you need to insert into that procrastination to get you to where you need to be. And I did a simple thing. Now, for a while now, I've only been eating one meal a day. I was doing that in the middle of the day, like around lunchtime. So I get up, do some work, then around lunch, I'll have a sensible lunch and then make my way through the evening and just have a snack. The little effort of just taking my midday meal and pushing that to the end of the day, oh my God. That whole procrastination thing, I'm like trying to figure out, "Ugh, why don't I wanna finish the rest of the day after I eat in the middle of the day?" So I just wanna goof around, and if not that I was full, but for
Yeah.
whatever reason, I was procrastinating. That time of day thing with the one detail, I move that to the end of the day, man, during the day, I'm proactive, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I have something to look forward to at the end of the night. I'm like, "Man, it's gonna be
Mm.
great. I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna really eat. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna be in my bed like a fat pig, just snoring and shit. It's gonna be great."
So what was the thing you were procrastinating on? Was it the meal, preparing the meal, or
No, whatever. But
the
but like
meal was in the way of you, so it was an excuse to procrastinate on the other tasks you had to do, is that correct?
yeah, so I would eat and then I find myself taking longer and longer to cook. And I'm like,
Gotcha.
hey, maybe I should cook with this. Maybe I should try this. Maybe I should go to the
Okay.
grocery store. And I was having fun doing that thing in the middle of the day. And it was causing me to not get to my core work.
Mhm.
I would extend I'm supposed to I don't need that long to cook and eat. It's just pretty quick. Blah, blah, do what I gotta do, unless I'm eating with somebody. But yeah, when I'm like on my structured meals, I just get in, do it, and be out. But having it in the middle of the day, man, I'd start watching TV while I ate, and then it's, oh, I can binge watch, I can do this. And it was messing up the rest of the day. I would just procrastinate on whatever the end of the day had for me. So putting it at the end of the day, I get mad. I start shuffling my feet around 12 o'clock because I'm used to eating at that time. But then it's, ugh, get that shit out of here. Back to work. Boom. Productivity, son.
Nice. I love it. When I think about that, definitely so Dan Sullivan just saying procrastination is a good thing because it's a signal and it helps you unpack what the true problem is. And I like that because I experience it too all the time. It's like, why do I want to do this thing? And I think we had a long conversation, remember, about the who, not how,
Mhm.
about sometimes. So why am I procrastinating on getting a who, hiring a who into my team? And then remember, I said, okay, let me back that up. I was debating it with you when we did it offline. I said, well, maybe it's not so much I do need a who, but maybe I don't need the who to do the job yet. Maybe I need a who to teach me what to do.
Right.
And then I can hire the who on to do the what. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? Like you go
Yeah. Yeah.
backwards. Sometimes you need a who because you're right. I'm like you a little bit. I have to understand the process at least enough so I can understand who to put in there because it's a new process.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes I procrastinate too is because I don't have the who I don't know what to do. So that's a signal to me that maybe I did just need a who to train me on that. And so I found a who I've been doing a lot with Facebook ads lately, and I found a who on Dan Henry's site, and he has his own little his name is Hernan, and he has his own little school community, of course. And so
Mhm.
he's been breaking down a lot of things. I was like, oh, that's how this stuff works. And so it's just opened my eyes to like, okay, this is how I can run Facebook ads more effectively than I ever thought before. And it's so much clearer than when I tried to run it a year ago. I was like, oh, I do this and this happens. I lost all this money. It doesn't
Yeah.
work. So
Yeah.
to your point, Mr. Benja, and I appreciate we had that back and forth. The procrastination opened my mind up into where I'm missing with my who, not how.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I sent it to you because when you listen to it, it'll relate. It may open up a can of worms or it may just be enough for that one
Can of
episode.
worms.
But no, these were thoughts he was having back in 2016. So that was
Good
really
point.
interesting.
Was that before the who, not how? I don't know. Did he come up with that concept before 2016? I wonder if that was the beginning of it.
He did not mention, I don't think Benjamin Hardy was on the scene for Who Not How at the moment,
Mhm.
but Dan
Okay.
Sullivan was very clearly pointing out all those concepts. He's like, "In this, I need to find somebody to do this."
Mm.
And
Well, yeah,
he didn't
the
have the words "who, not how," but that's what
yeah.
he was expressing.
Yeah, I think the principles and the workflows and everything was already there. He just had Ben Hardy put it
Yeah.
into a thoughtful process. But yeah, I agree. Okay.
And
Love
as I said, Dan Sullivan's on this thing, and this may have been where you got some pushback from because I wasn't pushing back on you directly, but he's got this whole concept of just like leverage in general, whether it's a person, a technology, waiting on the right timing for something to be released. So he's got this whole thing on just leverage in general. And I think it's been boiled down to who, not how, which is very catchy. It's just,
Okay, so you say the who is basically if you unpack it, there's more to the who and what that means, and that could be a bunch of other things. No, I love it. I'll definitely unpack it. Ultimately, it's about the games you play to get you moving. Really, look, it's
yeah,
simple. It's not hard. It's basically 10x. Let's be real.
yeah,
Grant Cardone
yeah,
hit it right. If you can do more, you'll be more. But the challenge is how do you do more?
yes,
And that's those games you play with yourself, whether it's Ben Hardy changing your past, gives you energy to do the future, or thinking about the who they can get leverage to do the work for you, or getting the who to help train you. All of it helping you to just do more.
yes, exactly.
So I think that's the key. So anyway, I digress. But Mr. Benja, we're gonna write a book one day, man. We're gonna distill all this and we're just gonna
Uh,
say wisdom from the cloud. Or wisdom.
we'll get Benjamin Hardy to act like he wrote it.
I bet,
Have
yeah, we'll just
have everybody fooled.
no, how about this? We'll call it Benjamin Harvey. We'll put
Oh, oh,
a pseudonym,
oh.
and so people would think it's Benjamin Hardy. It's a pseudonym of our name. It's a it's a mix. That's not the
Huh?
word, but it's the mix of our
Who
names.
these who these black jokers? I thought this was
Yeah.
about
Who's
bitch.
Benjamin Harvey? So anyway,
Why
I
why
digress.
why does Benjamin Harvey have 2 pictures? Are these were these taken at different locations? Nah, they
I
won't.
love it. I love it.
Speaking of doing a lot and doing more, really quick, Black History moment. You pointed out this Lanny Smoot guy. I didn't know who this was until I realized this was the guy that some of my Disney friends have been talking about for ages.
Mm.
Lanny Smoot from Imagineering. Imagineering is basically Disney's brain trust for creating great human interactive experiences, I'll call it. Um, I don't know a better way to describe what Imagineering does, but they create all the stuff like when you're going to Disney, you see the animatronics, you see the different technologies they're putting into place. Some of it makes it into movies, some of it's just for research and development. But introduce this guy really quickly.
Oh yeah, it was Black History Month. Lenny Smoot is an Imagineer. He actually came from Bell Laboratories, which is I worked with. It's basically offshoot of AT&T, the telephone company slash cellular service now, and a great inventor who was instrumental in a lot of early patents around electronic planning, camera prototypes, and things of that nature. And I think the history was, if I remember reading some of this, is that he helped Disney with some of the work he did with his camera. And I guess it was able to allow people from home to change the angle of the television program they were watching at will. So basically, a bit like stuff we do with remote control cameras, but you'd be able to do that back in in the early 70s or late 70s, 80s. And that was amazing technology. So Disney said, "We want you. Come work for us." And to your point, being an Imagineer is like basically you're right. It's a weird kind of title, but it's, for lack of a better term, like a product market manager of interesting things that people say can't be done. And you pretty much go off into Wonderland and create something that Disney could potentially sell or position in their parks or studios. And so this guy, he's just been with them for so long, and Lenny did has over 75 patents alone at Walt Disney, and that in addition to the ones he had Bell Labs 106. So some of the things he created was the Madame Leota, the ability to float in the seance room at the Haunted Mansion. So that flying head that you see, if you've ever been there before, that's
Mhm.
floating around. He did the Magic Play for interactive game experience on Disney Cruises. I don't know exactly what that is, but I may have seen it before. And he was the one that created the realistic retractable lightsaber that you saw debuted at the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. You may have saw some YouTubes of that where Ray
Mhm.
was the actress that played Ray had this retractable lightsaber, was running around. Everybody said, "Oh, that's so realistic! I gotta get me one." I think I forgot the executive. I think he had one time at the Disney event. So yeah, very instrumental guy, just very an innovator, man, and someone that we need to
Yeah.
highlight and celebrate.
Yeah, very recently, he was responsible for the hollow tile floor. I don't know if you've seen the guy walking on there's some tiles on the floor and they're made of little rollers. And basically, the guy's walking in place because the rollers are allowing him to stand still. And
Oh, okay, that's what that is.
that could,
Okay, I was wondering.
yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, so it's like they pop up and it's just I'm just walking.
So yeah, from VR and some certain types of filming applications. I don't know if you've ever seen like behind the scenes where they have people walking on a treadmill to make it look like they're
Mhm.
walking in the background is just a video or something.
And the volume is just moving behind them, like they're
Yeah.
moving. Yeah, I seen that. Yep.
So this hollow tile floor make that possible. Some VR applications for it as well. And you could also put a cup on it and have it roll to the other side automatically. It could be interesting for factories and things like that to move stuff around just any imaginable way. And his one of his patents made BB-8 come alive. So
Mm.
very cool stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So Black History strong.
That's right. We got to
Look
send
for
him one
another.
of our Black Batman Week plaques.
There it is, Mr. Benja. That's what we need. The bat behind us every time we talk. Black Batman Week Black. That's what we said, people. I love it. I love it. Get working on it.
Oh, oh man. And speaking of getting sold stuff, the Super Bowl's here. Biggest commercial exposition, televised exposition of commercials in the world, I believe. I don't believe anybody's even close, but yeah, Super Bowl's here. So talk to us about the Super Bowl, Mr. Super Bowl man. I didn't even watch it.
So did you watch it? Let me ask you that.
No, I didn't. I didn't bother.
What?
Not this year.
Mr. Benja. You do you watch it? Is that something you watch?
I have, now I do not.
Wow. Okay. It's one of those things. You won a few because this was the most watched program ever in the United States, averaging around 123 million viewers. Yeah, that's the most it's ever. It shattered last year's mark, which was 115 million. So this is the most watched Super Bowl ever, and so you're one of the few people now, Mr. Benja, in the country that hasn't seen it. So let me just tell you, for if you're talking about the game itself, it was boring. It was until the fourth quarter when things got spicy and went to overtime with the Kansas City Chiefs overcame San Francisco. So if you look at the game itself, it mirrors 2020 where Kansas City Chiefs beat San Diego, and we know what happened not too long after the Super Bowl 4 years ago, COVID. So anyway, people were just pretend for something else. But anyway, I digress. Game was okay. It was pretty interesting at the end. If you like Super Bowl, it was. We do have another GOAT, and I think that's Patrick Mahomes. But since it's not a sports podcast, maybe we'll start one. Let's talk a little bit about the business side of some of the entertaining commercials, Mr. Benja.
Well,
Did you watch any, or you have a sense of some of them that were interesting that you heard through the interwebs?
so the only one I heard about was the Kanye West 30 what you call a 30-second selfie. This had me cracking up, dog. I It looked like a prison video. Somebody just got like an old Nokia cell phone and was just hiding away in the dark like they just escaped from prison. Hey, listen, so Kanye West basically announced that he had some things for sale on his website, but the presentation was so authentic, so bad, so funny, so unplanned. It really did see. And this is Kanye. So as I said, Kanye is a walking art project. That doesn't mean you like the art. That doesn't mean the art is good. It just means he's a walking art project and he's interesting. But he was basically like, yeah, so we spent all the money getting on getting the commercial placement that we ain't have enough money for the commercial. So I just got on my phone and said, I'm gonna tell the people that they need to go to the website and yeah, that's it. And the website like flashed up. Dude, I was cracking the hell up over that. And I don't know, like some people said that was sad to see him do that. Like I don't know if it was sad or awesome or whatever, but it only showed in Miami and Chicago.
Okay, I
So
didn't know it was only select places, but he still
yeah,
spent a pretty penny. Some
yeah.
upwards, I said it was like maybe about 7 million to
Mhm.
put this out there. But Mr. Benja, how much
What's up?
did he make? How much did he make?
Numbers say that he made $19 million off of his 30-second selfie that
Boom.
cost yeah.
Boom. And so people want to laugh at him and joke, but man, that's the power of brand, baby.
And
Kanye has a brand.
and these were products that were in general already made, just hadn't hit high distribution yet. But yeah, it was that commercial. I've never seen anything like that. Never.
He has a strong brand still, regardless of what you may think of him and his views, but people and I think we're at a point now is you probably want intense hate and you probably want intense love, and that's the only way you're gonna make numbers like that. It's you can't if you're milk toast, you're not gonna move anything. So Kanye has intense love and intense hate. So when he puts a selfie out there, he can make 19 million, whereas everyone else got to put a funnel together and make sure it leads to a book first, and then people got to get to know your VSL video sales letter, and then they get access to your webinar, and then they get talk to
Mm,
you live for an hour, and then they say I don't want it. Then you gotta go give them a 5 day challenge.
yeah,
So it's just all these things, and then they gotta see your ad on YouTube and all this other stuff like 8 times, and a year later they love you. Whereas
yeah,
Kanye's been building his brand for 20 years. And it's like he can put a 30-second selfie. And that's why Alex Hormozy went all in on influence marketing
yeah.
as a business person.
Was there anything else? No, that's it. Bruh. Alright. So, along with this, people always talk about the Super Bowl performance and what went on, like the artists who get paid and everything. There was a lot of talk about Beyonce, Alicia Keys, Usher, Taylor Swift. Well, she didn't even perform. But how did these people end up like, what's the play with all of these celebrities getting involved with the Super Bowl, the performance, the halftime show? How does it play out for them?
When you got 123 million people watching the Super Bowl, all eyes on you. This you better sell something. You got eyeballs, you sell something. You ain't got nothing. I'm gonna find something to sell. Usher, the big thing with Usher. So I knew his show was. Did you see the show at all, or just or you heard glimpses of it? Did you get on
I
YouTube
saw him.
later?
I saw him skating around.
Yeah, I went to the show. I think I talked about that back in November, and yeah, I figured it would be good because number one, he's around our age, so he's in super shape because he's doing these performances like 3, 4 times a day, and part of the performance is skating. So I put a bet out there. I said Usher's gonna be on skates, and I won because I knew he had to put that in there. But the challenge was he only had 13 minutes. I was like, dang, can he change that fast? And he did. So yeah, I thought he put on performance, which I thought, but it was like his songs are so short. But what's he promoting? He's got a new tour. So after his residency, he's going world tour. And he had a new album that, uh, yes, happened to be out. He happened to push it out right before the
Mhm.
Super Bowl. So there you go, man. So that was just something they knew he was going to have it. Typically, Rihanna was strangely enough, she was Rihanna. Like I'm trying to think any other Super Bowl artist. Maybe Beyonce was the only one that's promote. I'm talking Super Bowl artists who
Yeah.
would go out there and perform. Maybe J Lo had something. She seems a little markety, but yeah, Usher was ready. He had something he was trying to sell.
So check this out. Speaking of Usher, he had a big connection with Apple Music. I don't know if you did the dive into
Saw that.
that. Yeah,
Hmm.
so he was connected with Apple Music, and Apple Music did the whole. It was like by Apple Music,
Hmm.
presented by Apple Music. So they even had, if you go to Apple Maps, they had a. Sorry, that was my beep. If you went to Apple Maps and went to the stadium, you could actually fly inside and see like little lights and stuff going off, and it said Apple Music like on the field. So they did little Easter eggs and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, when before the show, during the show, and after the show, Usher's face was all over Apple products, and it was like,
But yeah, just to be clear though, I did some quick research because I remember the LA halftime show. They also said Apple Music. So in late 2022, NFL announced that Apple Music will replace Pepsi as the new presenting sponsor of the period for the biggest event on that on annual TV calendar. So I think every going forward, every halftime show is going to always be Apple Music going forward. So at least for the foreseeable future. So yeah, there you go.
"Screw you, Spotify."
Yeah. Pepsi had it for years. You remember the big the Michael Jackson commercial
Yeah,
in our timeline? That was run by Pepsi. Inf
no, see,
famously, his hair caught on fire.
yeah,
Young kids, you don't know that, go look it up. Michael Jackson, before your time, but go check it out. Yeah, it's interesting. What do you think? So then, of course, Beyonce didn't perform, but she had a great commercial. It's the Verizon commercial about could she break the internet? And guess what? She tried to break it again. It was after the commercial launch. In the commercial, she said she's launching new music. And guess what? She had new music at the end of the commercial. And it was a country album. Surprise that she's
yeah.
launching. And that was crazy. I thought that was interesting. And people shoot Beyonce for stepping on Usher. But hey, good for Beyonce. Let folks know I got a country album coming out. And now Beyonce's going country. Renaissance Part 2.
That was the big part of the play right there for her. It's okay. Why are we talking about Beyonce? Do you think she should be doing country music? And then all of a sudden you look up and you, oh, there is something to talk about here.
Oh man, I was cracking up, man. You saw these black girls, women out there start doing line dancing with hats all of a sudden. I was, oh Lord, Beyonce can
Yeah,
make anybody do anything.
yeah.
I'll see you the video. I sent to my sister who may or may not be in a beehive. Please don't sting me. But I said, this gonna be you next year. Just literally it's just the hat and the
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my goodness, go ahead, Beyonce.
See if
And the
Crucial
rumor
Conflict can come back.
oh, man, look at you. And then Jess Hilarious, who's now Crucial Comic. I just think all these country hip hop songs. But anyway, Jess Hilarious, who's now on the Breakfast Club, she talked about part three may be a rock album. So it looks like Beyonce is trying to she's in her late stage experimentation phase. The
Yeah.
Beatles, they did some crazy stuff. But good for Beyonce. She got $30 million for that commercial, right? To promote her stuff. So she didn't pay nobody to do that. Good for her. That's business. Smart business. Taylor Swift, real quick. She didn't have anything, but she had announced, I think at the Grammys, that she has her next Era album, and then also the big new. We didn't talk about this yet, but maybe we did last week. But Disney they had to roll out the red carpet to everybody and let them know all the great things they're going to do to keep the investors happy
Mhm.
in Disney stock. And one of them is they're going to stream the Eras tour that just happened on Disney Plus exclusively, and she was there to promote that as well as her relationship with Travis Kelce, the football player. Mr. Benja, before Taylor Swift, did you know that Travis Kelce and you know who Travis Kelce was as a non-sport watching guy?
No.
You know who he is now, right?
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna be one of those people. I'm like, yeah, that's Taylor Swift's dude."
There you go. It worked.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then I don't know, you said something here about Alicia Keys, but hey, Alicia Keys look fabulous. I ain't gonna lie, man. I think the music, her singing voice, you heard that, right? The rumor there was that she could not, she messed up the first
Oh,
note
yeah,
and they
yeah,
cleaned it up with AI.
yeah.
That was a big rumor there.
No, there are people on Twitter because it's a place where you get all this dirt. No, there are people on Twitter who had the original and said, "No, I recorded it live. Here's what it sounded like when it first played through." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, didn't sound good.
Uh,
Because I've been, yeah, shaky on Alicia Keys' voice for years now, so I don't
mm.
know what it is, but yeah, maybe she's a vocal. But yeah, they cleaned it up real good. But what you had something about what she's promoting?
No, okay, yeah, with Alicia Keys, the whole thing with her Usher freaking on her, Usher kinda gets a little close during dance performances, and, yeah, he rolled up on Alicia Keys. I don't know how planned it was, but it seemed like artificial buzz because right after, all the people are like, "Hey, what does Swiss Beats think about this thing? Hey, man, I'm working on
And
this
Swiss
art sh."
Beats is Alicia Keys' husband,
Husband,
right? And they got
yes.
kids together. Yep.
So he's online talking about, "Hey, listen, I got this big new art show that's happening. Everything's happening over here. There's this other thing. Listen, man, I'm not da 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 da." And he's scheduling podcast appearances. I'm like, "What is this?"
Man, Ada, boy, attention. Don't matter how you get it, just get attention. People looking at you. Usher rubbing on your
Yeah,
booty. I can sell my husband's art show, whatever. Yes, let's get attention. Now let's get interest, desire, and then people can act and buy my stuff. So yeah,
yeah.
it's just tale as old as time, man. But yeah, she looked good, man. I always like had a little thing for Alicia Keys, but
Oh,
yeah, yeah. But Usher, man, he grimy, man. You heard the rumor, the whole Kiki Palmer, that
yeah,
whole issue. And then you go to this concert, man. Luckily, me and my wife and my brother-in-law and sister, we were like up in the rafters, so he couldn't
yeah,
come up there. But he'd be in the stands just singing and grinding on random women. And of course, there's always some celebrity woman in the crowd. And you've seen the YouTube videos for that. So there's just, I guess that's
yeah,
his shtick now. Good for him.
yeah. It definitely is. Oh, and speaking of getting the attention, Kanye West, he actually sat in front of Taylor Swift.
That's a rumor. That's the
No,
rumor I heard.
okay, the rumor is that she got him kicked out, but
Okay.
the part is that's I think is true is that he actually sat in front of her. So
Okay.
his box area was right in front of hers. That's the part I think is legit. I don't think that she had him thrown out because he was just walking all around the stadium anyway, just going to different
Yeah, the
places.
rumor was that was him in the mask, but it was actually I am at first. People, oh, when the Usher performed, he had everybody. It was like he basically said two words from each of his songs, and that was it.
Yeah.
Before you get into the song, you're like, oh, that was Lil Jon. Okay. Well, kudos to him. I love it.
Alright, got any more in the Super Bowl?
Nah, man, I think we're good. Oh, one thing, Dun Kings. I just want to put that out there.
Oh, yeah.
Ben Affleck, man, he went all in on this commercial. I mean, last year he talked about Duncan. I'm a Duncan fan, but this is too much. I guess that's you just stand-up comedian, right? If you're gonna do a joke,
Uh,
go all in. So he's
yeah,
got the sweatsuit. He put in Matt Damon now. He got Tom Brady, and they're actually putting out music
yeah.
talking about iced coffee. Love it.
No, even if it's a bad idea, you go all in. And you have it sit prominently on your shelf as bad idea. You don't try to hide it. 'cause you try to hide it, it's
Just go all in. You go do it. And they're doing it, man. Matter of fact, the merch, I almost got it. The little, I don't know if you saw the Dun King little onesie or whatever, sweatpants, sweatsuit. It sold out like in minutes. So yeah, kudos to Duncan. I'm pissed. Business 101. Now they got all this money to get Ben Affleck. Man, you know how much the coffee has gone up, man? It's $2 extra than I used to remember paying for. $3 a cup
what?
for a medium. Yeah, it's crazy. So there you go.
I guess alright. So, now I know we haven't talked about the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a while, but there's some updates. There's some things we gotta jump into and get over. And trailing off from our Super Bowl discussion, the Deadpool trailer came out, or teaser, whatever you wanna call it. Did you see it?
I did.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I liked it. Ryan Reynolds, this is his shtick. So I enjoy what he does. It's interesting take it. I guess we'll spoil a little bit if you haven't seen it, go online, but looks like they're using the TVA from Loki and Quantumania. I think they showed a little bit of it
Mhm.
as an entry point to get these Fox properties like Deadpool, maybe Fantastic Four, maybe X-Men entered into the MCU or yeah, Marvel Cinematic Universe. So they actually had him go to the TVA and get introduced to the Marvel, to the Avengers, and so I thought that was interesting. So, yeah, but it's gonna have the same R-rated sensibility that
Yeah.
we've known and loved. So I put this as a debate to you, Mr. Benja. Someone put this out here. What are your thoughts? With Deadpool now entering the MCU, are we gonna see Captain America dropping F-bombs now?
You can have, Captain Black American Falcon drop F-bombs, but I don't know if they want your clean cut Steve Rogers dropping F-bombs.
"Meet me outside. I'm black. Meet me outside. What you gonna do?" That's what he's gonna say.
Roll up on the shield, y'all. Watch what happens. Except he won't say y'all, he'll say the thing.
But Marvel has been very narrow, right, in their basically 13, right? Right
Yeah.
here. Now Deadpool puts it out here, right, with the R-ratedness. So could the next Avenger movies, could they be a little bit spicier, right? So that's the
Yeah.
question.
So to me, I don't think that'll happen. I think what we're gonna end up with is Deadpool acting as this maybe okay, so you've got like the Marvel Spotlight, or what they call it? Marvel
Mhm,
Spotlight, where you have the Echo, Daredevil, and those
mhm.
characters that can do all the grimier stuff. And then you have the standard MCU, which is
Good point.
people flying around doing their thing. And maybe you even want to have a fourth. I skipped the third. Maybe you even want to have a fourth where you have the kitty stuff like Miss Marvel, Hulkling, and the lighter fare for Disney Plus or whatever. But could Deadpool carve out this weird new hybrid almost of a Hugh Jackman, a Deadpool, where you're talking about Logan, we're getting into some heavier stuff that's a little more, I don't know. I don't know what the word is for it.
Edgy,
Yeah, edgy,
edgy.
but not like just gritty and dark like Punisher, Daredevil kind of stuff. So I think he may have a his own little meats that he can cut out.
Yeah, I think there was a attempt in comics, a kind of edgier stuff. They would have that the Marvel Knights imprint where they would
Mm,
have the
yeah.
street level guys get dirty, down and dirty, cutting people and stuff like that. So I could see them. Or when you were talking, I was thinking maybe the TVA is an entry into the MCU, but then once he's done his mission, he's going right back to his universe. So that's why we're not going to see that craziness anymore because the two universes will stay separate unless there's a big event like maybe Secret Wars to bring them all together. So I don't know.
Yeah, if they keep them well sequestered and separate enough as sub brands, then I think you've got something. Don't forget you've got Blade coming still and
Are
stuff
we?
like
There's
that.
a lot of issues with that one, but yeah, we'll see.
Hopefully, we shall see. Uh,
Real quick before we move on, but what'd you think the meta commentary in the trailer? He's Marvel Jesus.
it's Deadpool levels. Yeah, that's what you do.
But is it true? Will he save Marvel, the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Him alone, the one and
No, and I do not think he saves Marvel. I think he, at the most, puts the rest of Marvel on its toes because Marvel Disney is only screwing up because Marvel Disney is screwing up.
okay. I did the impression what I got was that Marvel Jesus means that he's gonna come in and save Marvel to put it back on top, right?
Oh no,
By
I
himself.
I think that's the the point of what he was saying. I agree there.
Mhm.
I'm totally with you there. I just don't
Yeah.
think that it's as prophetic as he's making it sound. It's just, guys, get back there, start writing the good stuff again, and we'll keep Deadpool off in the dude. You can't Disney cannot have Deadpool running the show. That's what I'm saying. They have executives
He's
sitting back saying this crude, shriveled up guy is supposed to be a hero and cracking dick and fart jokes, and it just that to me is so off brand that they won't allow it to succeed more than the other stuff. They'll have to bring their
I'm just
game up.
I'm just saying money trumps everything. If Deadpool, Wolverine ends up making $1 billion, I could absolutely see Deadpool become the next Nick Fury.
What happened? What happened?
Running around.
So wait, what
Hey
happened to Nick?
guys. Hey guys, what's up? Are you X-Men? Come on. The rumor is this is gonna be like the entryway to
Yeah.
X-Men. But anyway, we digress, Mr. Benja. Something else got announced.
Oh yeah, X-Men '97, right?
But do you want to talk about that first, or you want to talk about the other thing? But we talk X-Men 97. Yes, continuation of the cartoon that was beloved by you, me, and maybe a certain doctor friend of ours. I got hyped, Mr. Bitch. I'm not gonna lie. I surprised myself. I haven't seen this cartoon in I don't know 20, 25 years.
Mhm.
And that da-da-da, I got hyped. What about you?
Hey man, I was just waiting on that gong. Um,
Mm.
I like the animation. I went back and watched some of the old X-Men, and I was still with it, but I'm like, yeah, this is a little dated. And the stills didn't look that advanced. So when I saw the stills, I was like, okay, we'll see how it comes with the animation, the flow, the voice, the audio.
Yeah.
Man, when I saw Wolverine sprinting down the field and then Gambit jumps on his back,
Yes, that's why we are friends, Mr. Benja.
I'm like,
That's why we're friends. Because I felt the same way.
I'm like, hey, he's a regular human just like you. How you just gonna ride him out? Let's charge
Oh,
up,
man.
Morty.
Benja. Now
I was
it's
like,
proof. We're friends, Mr. Benja.
I was
It's
like,
like when I saw that, yeah, you're right. He's scared of it. Then they got the action side. Here goes Gambit. Then he charges up his fist. And then he pulls out his thing. And then now they attack. I'm like, oh my God, I just too hyped. I had to watch that like 8 times, man. I almost passed out from the hypeness.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So anyway, as you guys can tell, we're pretty excited.
that'll be good stuff. Oh, but you were mentioning the other shoe that dropped, the Fantastic Four casting. So they're not playing around anymore. We got a poster, we got a cast list, and it's Pedro Pascal leading the way with Mr. Fantastic. I didn't want this to be the way, but he's the guy they're going with for Mr. Fantastic.
I like it. Sure, they could win some other way, but Pedro want them checks, man. He was working in Hollywood for 20 years and got nothing. And so I'm not mad at him, man. Get your paychecks. He's in Marvel. He's in Star Wars. Excuse me. He's in DC. He's in Star Wars. Now he's in Marvel. Get them checks, buddy.
He was in
And
Last
he
of
was in
Us.
Game of Thrones. And he was in yeah, Last of Us and Game of Thrones. So it's like,
Right, right.
dude, give him his checks. Give him his check. Who else you got on this cast list?
Vanessa Kirby, who I really don't know of. Joseph
You
Quinn.
know her, man. That's
I
the
really don't.
cutie, and she was in Hobbs and Shaw. You didn't see that? She's the blonde hair kind of British actress.
Hobbs and Shaw. She sounds like somebody who would be assigned on the cast list, random cutie for action movie.
You've seen her before, though. Yeah, she came to fame during some British show or something. But okay, but I know who she is. Yeah, she's good. Yeah, so I know her. And this other guy too, the next one on this list. I guarantee you know who he is.
I don't know Joseph Quinn.
You didn't see Stranger Things?
Not that far. No, I dropped out before he showed up. Wait,
Oh, okay, yeah.
he showed up in the later seasons, right?
Yeah, the last season that just dropped, he played I can't remember the character's name, Eddie. Everybody loved him, man, and I didn't know who he was at first. I had to look at him up. I said, "Oh," because he looks totally different. He's got like a mullet. He's the one that had the Hellfires shirt that everybody wears now. Yeah, so he's good as Storm. I think so. You got somebody previously played, let's be honest, by Chris Evans and Michael B. Jordan. So he's got some
Yeah,
big shoes to fill, but I'm sure he can handle it.
yeah, yeah. I'm actually glad they didn't pull back. Hey, it's multiverse and pull one of those characters in. That would have just been too
They
much.
just might, Mr. Bencher. They might. When Secret
Man,
Wars happen, all bets are off. Come on now.
yeah. And we got a Ebon Moss-Bachrach, Backrack.
Yeah. Yeah, he was also in Andor. I don't know if you saw that, and the bear, of course.
Yes,
Good.
Andor.
Yeah,
Andor
good
as
kick.
well.
Yeah, good character actor, great guy. But being the thing is basically the voice job because I'm sure that's gonna be CGI. If you don't know, the thing is basically a rock monster.
Yeah.
But anyway, the rollout of this was interesting. Came out on Valentine's Day and it was a cutesy little art poster that they put out there that got everybody excited. Are you excited about Fantastic Four, number one? And what'd you think of the marketing rollout quickly?
They're doing it. It seems like a relatively soft rollout. Like they're just sprinkling out little bits of information. They don't want too much to blow up. I think that the strength of it was just on that casting and making people know that yes, it's coming out. It's a strong film. It's got backing behind it. I think that was just enough of a confirmation. So they don't need to mess with getting in front of Deadpool, getting in front of X-Men 97 or anything else that they've got. They're just like, hey, listen, we still got stuff coming. Please don't get mad at us if the Thunderbolts goes bad or we've
Mm,
got this coming.
like I said, I'm still on the fence. X-Men I get. Everybody loves the X-Men. I definitely see that blowing up. But the Fantastic Four, I don't know how that would work in our society. It was the first Marvel, that's the first family. They were the first comic book that Marvel put out. I get the
Yeah.
love there. Spider-Man's up there, but they never, at least in our generation, I don't think they were something we talked about all the time.
No, but I
I don't
mean,
remember ever talking about them in
we
comic.
did
We talked
we
about a
didn't
lot of
talk
stuff, Mr. Benja.
we didn't
We
talk
never
about
talked about no
Guardians of
Fantastic
the
Four.
Galaxy easy either.
Yeah, fair point. Fair.
I always bring that one back because I think they can do good with this, and they seem to be, from what little I can tell, they seem to be trying to make it strong, like they made the Avengers solid. I don't see that with the Thunderbolts. Like I just see them goofing off with the Thunderbolts. Like, yeah, whatever, man. People leaving, people, you know,
Yeah, dropping in and
not
out.
really happy about it. It just seems like a corny afterthought. But Fantastic
Well,
Four,
but the Fantastic Four, let me just put this in here real quick. Fantastic Four has already had 3 movies. 2
s-
movies, one was a sequel, and then the 3rd one that flopped.
sad but
So
true.
and no, I take that lie back. There's been 4 movies, Mr. Benja. The terrible Roger Corman one. Remember that one? You go on YouTube,
Okay.
you go look
Okay.
that up with the thing and all that. It's just terrible. So, like I said, the Fantastic Four doesn't have good stock unless they come up with a great storyline. That's the thing. I don't know. And to your point, Pedro Pascal, does he give you off genius level vibes? I see John Karinsky. I think he was the one that everyone's thinking about.
Mhm.
But you need somebody that just portrays he's like the smartest guy in the room. And I don't know if Pedro gives that off.
Yeah. See, Pedro, I just didn't want him there anyway. But nevertheless, I think
Cash
he
and
can.
checks.
I think he can pull it off. I think he can pull it off, especially if you make the other three characters look boneheaded. Dude, I'm a high school jock. All right. Hey, I'm an engineer. All right. Hey, I turn invisible. I don't actually know what Sue does in the stories, but
Turn invisible and put you a bubble. She's a protector. Dude,
in terms of her job,
it's
like
like it's
the
basic.
driver, the high school
Yeah.
guy, and the
Well,
ditzy
you know,
blonde
it's
from the
genius,
stories.
man. Stan Lee's genius in characters. Let think about it. Mr. Fantastic, he stretches himself too thin, so he's always doing everything.
Mhm,
Like you said, Johnny Storm, he's a hothead, just irrational, so he's gonna be on fire all the time. Stu Storm is the mother, she's protecting everybody and she doesn't want to be seen. She turns
mhm.
invisible. So it's amazing to me. Yeah, it works. Yeah. So I get it.
You know what? And people asked a while back if I thought the Fantastic Four could work, and I said they made the Incredibles work, and that's this. And I
Okay, good point.
and I was like,
Good point.
family, baby, keep that family
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Okay, good point. We'll see. It's tough, man. If you gotta, yeah, you gotta really care about the people.
The only thing is, later on, I don't know how much they're gonna do in this movie, but they go really outer space weird. And if they're
Yes.
trying to go outer space weird right off the bat, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's gotta
We'll
be
see.
grounded. Yeah, it's gotta be grounded. So Mr. Benja, man, this has been great. I love talking to you. And as you can tell, our time is up this time. So everyone, thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and comment at Show versus Business on X, YouTube, and Instagram. Listen to us at Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And you want to check us out on our website, go to Show versus Business. Until next time, Mr. Benja.
Peace.